Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Hope you're having a fabulous Thursday. I am well. Everything is good. Morning, Kat. How are you? I hope you are well. So we've changed gears. We've gone off schedule, off script, but that's okay. Because I finished what I had set out to do yesterday, which was finish our little mushroom fairy circle. And I said if I finished it, then we would do something completely different. So this is the finished product. This is the finished, I made a little cupcake to go, a little fairy circle offering to go in the center of our fairy circle. I think I should have done like a darker color for the base of the cupcake or a brighter color for the frosting because it's all looking very same, but that's okay. I still think it's cute. So yeah, so I finished that up yesterday, which is awesome. So that means that we can now switch gears into a thing that I have been experimenting with a little bit. So I had this idea after Operation Cross-Stitch Keychains was a fail. I liked the idea. I had a vision in my brain that I could do watercolor backgrounds and then do like line art mushrooms over top of them. So basically Monday I taught myself how to use watercolors. I spent a good few hours just experimenting, trying to figure out what I was doing. So that's what all of these are. So I was testing, I followed this like tutorial on YouTube. So that was fun. And then once I was like, okay, we're getting acquainted with colors and blending and different techniques and stuff, let's actually see if what I want to do is gonna happen. So yeah, I tested out some of the options and then we stuck it in the keychain and it seems to have worked, which is excellent. So here is an example. And so I'm still not entirely sure how I want to do things. There's certain techniques that I thought would look really cool, but I'm still trying to figure out like what they would look like. So like this idea of doing like splotches of color, and then having the mushrooms sort of be in the sort of random colors and be outside the lines and stuff. Like I like the idea of that. I don't know if I've executed it 100% here, but we're working on it. Hi Nungday, good afternoon. How are you? I hope you are well. I hope things are good. But yeah, so I figured today we're just gonna start going through that process and continuing to experiment with that. I also, the first thing I did in this before I was like, okay, let's get into watercolor, is I practiced drawing mushrooms. And so I'm still, I don't know, man, this is all new to me. Visual art's all new to me. We don't visual art up in here. So yeah, trying different things, seeing what works. And so today I figured we would prep some of these things and start doing it. But yeah, that's the plan. You're really good at that. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we've been trying. There's a lot of erasing that goes on, but you know, it's because we're learning, we're trying. I'm trying not, like, it's one of those where I've realized, and I'm sure people who are visual artists understand that, is this gonna like really fuck with people if I change the orientation of this even though the mat is all squares? I think we might have to do it this way for the sake of my own orientation on the chair. But then it's gonna be off whatever's. Good, I'm trying a new sewing machine. Oh, amazing. Oh, that's so cool. You got a new sewing machine? That's awesome. Okay, we're gonna rotate myself. Or, I don't know, I'm just trying to get comfortable. The reason I keep squirming is like because I need to sit cross-legged in order to function. Okay, let's try it the right way. Let's maybe move this out of my eye line because I think maybe that's what's throwing me off. You got a heavy duty singer for your birthday. Right, it was your birthday recently. It was both yours and then it was Kat's birthday. How was your birthday, Nungday? What did you do? Okay. I think step one, what I'm going to do is... Okay, we need to figure out a way to do this. I need to figure out a way to orient myself that's not going to, like, piss me off or stress me out. Okay. Okay. Sure. Good enough. So, first thing we're going to do, we're going to tape these down onto the mat, because then that'll make it easier to control things. Then we're going to trace out our canvas size, which is right here. Then we're going to sketch some mushrooms. So the watercoloring is going to happen in the last phase. And then after we've watercolored, we are then going to pen line art over top. That is the plan. I saw them making a reusable Christmas bag for presents on TikTok and it looks so easy. Oh, that's so cool. You're very tempted. You should try. You should try. I'm here for the AG assessment. It looks like, oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing you finally got, because I know you've been going through like some absolute bullshit to get proper assessments. So I'm glad that finally happened for you. Gotta go back one more time. Then went for a meal with your family. Amazing weekend. It just got me and kiddo went, oh, yes. How was Fairy Festival and how was your first time camping? You borrowed your sister's tent, right? How was it setting up? How'd that go? That was a brand new, exciting endeavor for you. Don't know how. Oop. Okay, it's fine. I'm overthinking it. I feel like I should try to maximize the amount of space, workable space I have, so taping off like a third of this is probably not a good idea. So let's move it out. Whoa. Maybe like to here? That seems better. That seems more reasonable. That's really exciting though. I'm so excited that you got to do that. How did your fairy wings turn out in terms of like transportability and such? Because I know you were working on those. You were making updates to your mushroom outfit. Okay. Step one, tape down the things. It was very wet and windy the first night, and so I was dripping by the morning. But an extra tarp stopped that. Kiddo made friends with the kid next to tent. Oh, amazing! Made friends with the parents. Oh, that's awesome. They were too heavy and drooped. That's fair, especially if it's really windy. Because it was so windy, you didn't want to be like completely unstable the entire time. That's a shame though, because I know you were working really hard on them, so it would be nice for them to get their debut at some sort of event at some point, but I respect the decision. I respect it. That's so cool though. And that's good that I figured that was gonna happen. I remember saying that, like, I'm pretty sure if everybody was going to this event, like, they were going to be super chill and that they would probably give you assistance if you needed it and were, like, new to camping, you know? So it was all clear on the most fun day. Music tributes, Mermaid and Merman. Oh, that's cool. Face painting a bunch of stalls. That's awesome. Did you get fairy swag? I assume there were, like, makers and stuff that were selling fairy-related items. Wasn't a huge field either. You can see their set from. Oh, that's nice. That's always nice too. Like, that gives you a sense of security that they can sort of run around and you know that they're safe because you can kind of keep an eye on them, but they're still able to, like, have their independence and play around and stuff. That's really awesome. They obviously like lucked out on the location. Okay, this one's not nearly as neat and tidy, but irrelevant. Okay, step 1 done. Step 2. We're just gonna outline. I didn't realize, well, I guess I did. I bought these pencils like a million years ago, and I guess they're like official sketching pencils, and there's different like lead thicknesses and stuff, which is interesting. I've just been using the sort of smallest related ones. I didn't think that there was that much of a difference, and then I went to draw with the other one, and I was like, ooh, this one's thick. So never mind. Kiddo doesn't want to go camping again, though. Oh, no. He hated all the bugs. That's fair. That's fair. My brother was very much, he was not a bug person at all. And it's really funny because his girlfriend is like super into bugs and stuff. Well, she's super into like all living creatures. So she's like really helped him build up his tolerance for the creepy crawlers. So the only thing I did notice is when I was drawing out the pencil lines for the mushrooms, when I went over them in with the watercolors, it then sort of like, because I was using like the wet on wet technique, which I found out that there's multiple techniques. I think the one that seems to work best for what I'm trying to achieve is the wet on wet technique. But because of that, it sort of like makes the lines disappear a little bit. So then we're kind of going into the inking phase a little blind in some areas, but it turned out okay. But yeah, I don't think every single one of the pieces are going to be bangers, much like these guys, but I think there's like an understanding of how things are going to work. I do want, if I can make this thing happen and not have it just turn into a bulgy mess, because that's kind of what happened here, I think that we might be okay. Because the problem is when you try to do the wet on wet blotches, you run the risk of them like all just connecting at some point. But maybe if they're like close, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Because I don't want them to be super far apart. Like, I really like this one that I did. And so if I can do the kind of blotches on here and then even do, I don't know, we'll see. We will see. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, this was 3 hours of, I'm really, you know what it was? I think the thing that's really pretty about gradients, but I don't know, I think if I were to do just like, I don't know, I guess I could paint on top of them, but I don't know, like gradients in watercolor just look so pretty. They're just so pretty. But I don't know if, yeah, maybe. We'll see. Again, we're basic bitch. Second time watercolor painting ever, so. Took a few watercolor classes and got a few paintings out of it, but I lost like all the info over the years. Yeah. I found this, again, I just Googled like watercolor, and then there was this artist who had a YouTube series from like 2 years ago walking you through like all of the basics. Like the first basics were like, get like literally just swatch all of your paint and then like play with all your brushes, and then the second one was like learning how like the amounts of water and stuff. I'm still not entirely, I don't know, like I think I get a bit panicky about it where I just like, I don't know, go ham, but we'll see. 'Tis a learning experience. There's a man on YouTube I watch. I don't really want to do stuff I don't really have an area to do or the mindset right now. That's fair. Is he does he do watercolors or does he do something else? Oh, that's annoying. Oh, check me out. Utilizing the space provided. I have attempted to do some like landscaped versions of the mushroom drawings, but as of right now, I don't know, I'm not happy with them. But even if we don't do landscape, if we're still doing portrait ones, this will save some time. Though I think it might be difficult to do a portrait mushroom while this is taped to the table, but it's okay. This guy. Okay, let me see. Oh. Why isn't it showing me? There we go. Oh, wow. Oh, he looks so sweet. He looks like such a happy person. Aww. I love him already. He's like a happy Hayao Miyazaki. Because Hayao Miyazaki always looks really grumpy, whereas this guy looks very happy. That's amazing. I love him. I'll have to watch some of his videos later. Oh, that's very accurate. Oh, amazing. I'm glad. That was the vibe I was getting. So, okay. Step one, we'll finish outlining these guys. Then the next step will be to draw some mushrooms, and then we will do some watercoloring. Look at this. I got a little travel palette because I wanted something small, and it was fun because I had to like individually unwrap all the little paints and stuff, and I was like, this is so cute. I don't know what it is. It just like whatever it is, watercolor and like watercolor palettes, it's very like there's just an aesthetic. Like it just feels very aesthetically like cottagecore, forest core. I don't know. I see all the cool kids go out with their like portable travel watercolor sets and paint like nature scenes and frolic in the forest with their watercolors, and I was like, I want to be like that. Ooh. The other thing I want to do eventually, I don't know if that's gonna happen today, that's like, that feels like hard mode, is like color mixing, like color blending, because I do feel like I don't have like a really light purple, or there's like certain colors that I feel like I would like to have. And I know I probably could be like lazy and just go buy palettes that have those colors in them, but I feel like it's like, I don't know, color mixing feels like a skill that I would like to learn. But I feel a bit intimidated about, because I'm already trying to remember and wrap my brain around like the amount of water you need to get the certain opacity that you want, and like in order to manipulate what you're doing. And because I'm doing like, I don't know, the thing I'm thinking will make the most sense is like a wet on wet technique that gives you like a timeline, because you have to do the technique or do the thing before the water dries, or else it's no longer a wet on wet, it's a dry on wet technique, and then that doesn't do what I want it to. So it just feels like there's a lot of moving pieces, even though this like, I don't know, for something that looks so soft and delicate, like the backgrounds and things, like, I don't know, the look of watercolors just looks so soothing to me. And in my brain, I'm like panicking the whole time because I'm like, we have a limited amount of time to get this shit done. But yeah. Because I don't know, I know like with dry on wet techniques, you can like wait for everything to dry and then build it up and stuff. But because I want some of the colors to like sploosh out, I think that's not possible. It must be, though. I must be able to paint a background, let it dry, and then go back in with wet, like with water, and then try to achieve the same thing. I don't know. Maybe we'll test that. Maybe we'll experiment with that today. You painted Gus Gus for your mom? Oh, that's cute. Gus Gus as in your dog Gus Gus, or Gus Gus as in the mouse from Cinderella with which they are named after? Either way, very cute. Okay. The mouse you put in Discord. Ooh, let me see. I'm excited. Oh, he's so cute. Oh, sorry. I just used the same vocal inflection I do when I'm talking to Shadow, and his ears perked up and he was like, what's going on? I forgot to add his tail and had to add it later on. That's so funny. He looks really cute though. You did such a good job. That's amazing. I love his little feet and his belly. Oh my god. That's so good. I love it. I love it. I love it a lot. That's amazing. Okay. Let's draw some mushrooms. Go team. Okay. So, I was experimenting. I think I really want to go for this sort of a clustery thing. These are my attempts at like chanterelle mushrooms. It's always so interesting to me. I've been like referencing my mushroom book and stuff. These are just generic bonnets. I don't know. It was funny because Liam came downstairs and was like, oh, what mushroom is that? And I was like, I don't know, generic mushroom number A. Generic mushroom A. And he was like, oh, I thought you were gonna like know what all the mushrooms are. And I'm like, that's the goal. That is the goal. And like try to make mushrooms that are like the thing. But alas and alack. Yeah, please do. It was interesting because again, I think I was talking about this on Tuesday. Like, I never took visual art classes in secondary school, so I was never exposed to any of this kind of stuff. And so, yeah, like, this is all, like, literally new to me. I was aware of their existence, obviously, but I had never, so, like, Liam has had more watercolor painting experience than I have. And he said he really enjoyed it, so I was like, that's cool. Oh, you found them. Oh, please post them. I'm excited to see. And then this guy. Good morning. Yes, of course. I hope you're having a good day. Yeah, I don't know, guys, you don't know. So yeah, I managed to finish my needle felted fairy circle yesterday off stream. So then I decided that we were going to do some watercolor painting and such today. So here's the fairy ring, and then I made a little fairy cake to go inside it. Again, it's all very similar colors, so they kind of blend in, but I still think it's cute, so it's okay. But yeah, so today we're just like sketching some mushrooms, and then we're going to paint said mushrooms and then watercolor them. No. Painting, I did mean paint by watercolor, and then we're gonna ink them. Don't know if that's the correct term, but that's the term we're gonna use. I like this concept, but I think everything needs to move over. There's gonna be a lot of this, you guys. There's gonna be a lot of Tasha being like, no! I think probably, okay, if I make my center mushroom first. So you're gonna go in the center. Cozy mushroom stream. So now I can't, it's fine, it doesn't matter. Okay. But yeah. So that's the plan for today. Just cozy mushroom. Sketch and stuff, right? We're like, it's fine. Everything is fine. This is like the chonkiest eraser as well. The only stuff I went out and bought was like the watercolor stuff. All these other things. So I have pencils and like pens and shit. I don't know if they're the correct materials, but I've just been like doing whatever. And so. Okay. And then if the idea is like, comes down here like so, and then we decide, I was gonna say, you can kind of see that, you can half see what's going on, and then we decide we want to put that top sailboat painting got me $50 commission from one of my mom's coworkers. No way! Oh my god, I need to see them. Oh my god. I also love that they're like Disney ones. That makes me so happy. That's so good. Is that watercolor? That's so good. Like, look at your shading. That's amazing. Oh my god. Cat, stop. Those are so nice. Damn. Oh, I love it. Right, that was acrylics. Yeah. But still. I think that's really nice, though. It's Pongo. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. I was saying to Liam, the only, like, art thing I remember doing, and I've spoken about, so we did, like, there was a student teacher we had that did, like, collages and stuff, but in terms of, like, actual art, we did this project where I think we had to use I don't know if it mattered the medium, but we basically had to like find a picture in like a magazine, because back in the day magazines were readily available. And we had to cut the picture like in half or on a diagonal or whatever, and then stick it, like glue it down on a page, and then we had to recreate the other half of the project. That was what it was. Did train for my dad's birthday, but I'm sure. Oh no! Oh, in our basement. So like, in terms of painting, the most painting I probably did was like in kindergarten. You know, because you have like a paint easel. You know, they put the smock on you, and you got like the really thick brushes and like the little paint pots and whatever. And then you'd have the like drying rack in the kindergarten classroom where you like dry your big ass masterpieces. And then sometimes too, I think they incorporated like reading and stuff to them, and so in some of them we would like describe what the painting was, and then the teachers would write it out, and then we'd have to write out what they wrote on top of it to like practice our spelling and stuff like that. So my parents had an unfinished basement for years. And so all of my like artwork paintings from like kindergarten ended up on the walls of the unfinished basement. Tons of those. That one might be too far down. Nope. Nope. Let's put you up a little bit higher. Mind you, this doesn't have to be like 100% because we are gonna be going over this. Okay. And then can probably add one more up here maybe. Sort of like in between these. Sorta, kinda, maybe. Oh, Shadow's dreaming. We ran into a shadow cousin on our walk today. Another rescue dog. Not that, if anything, that's an amazing thing, but I love how usually the second thing out of somebody's mouth is... To be fair, sometimes it's the first. I think this one was the second one, though. Because I always walk by, whenever we walk by other fellow long boys, I go, Shadow, look, it's your cousin. And then the woman kind of stopped and, like, looked, and I was like, oh, like, my dog's a lurcher, so, and he's, like, mostly greyhound, so when I see other greyhounds sort of thing. And she's like, yeah, this guy's name is Arnold. He's 3.5. He's a one that they adopted from a charity that takes in ex-racing dogs. So I was like, that's good. Now he's living his best life. Don't have to race anymore. I don't know if I told you guys how I had a really strange interaction with a man the other day. When is it not? Just kidding. But yeah, I was walking Shadow the other day, and usually when people like talk to me about Shadow, I assume, like, I don't know, when they acknowledge my dog, I assume that means they're a dog person, you know? No, exactly. And I think that was the thing where they've rescued him from that, I think. I think a lot of them are retired ones. But that's the thing, like, I don't think, like, I've never been to it. I don't think. I've heard really bad horror stories about how mistreated dogs are in those sorts of industries. The family tent next to us had a huge St. Bernard called Wilmer, and any chance to escape, she would, and we'd just see her bound across the field. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Wilmer the St. Bernard. They're huge, and they're slobbery, and they're just adorable. That's amazing. Well, Sunday morning, we saw her run. I knew the family were down by the toilets and showers, so I took over their tent. Oh, there's a massive rip down the... Oh. Wilmer was like, I must not be contained. Yeah, I would think a dog that likes to run off could not be contained by, like, fabric enclosure. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know if that's a good idea. Okay. First set of mushrooms, doodled. But yeah, so I'm not a fan. Again, I've never been to it, but I've heard really bad things. But anyway, Shadow and I are walking, and this guy sees him, and he sees us. Hi, Jess! Hello, hello! Hi! So good to see you. They're staying an extra night, so they duct taped over the hole for the last night. You got to. That's the only option, man. Duct tape and WD-40. Those are the things you got to use. And so we're walking out of this, like, there's like a... walking out of the kind of foresty, fieldy area, and there's like these kissing gates that you have, so it's like kind of enclosed, but they're not really doing that good of a job, but whatever. So we get out of the gates, and there's a guy waiting for us to like get out, sort of thing, so that he can go through. And I'm like, okay, cool, like, thank you, whatever. And he kind of looks at Shadow and then goes, see a greyhound? And I was like, yeah. And he had shopping or whatever. And usually when people like acknowledge the dog, I assume, oh, you would like to say hi to the dog. And so Shadow sort of comes over to him when he, like, acknowledges him, but the guy kind of just, like, stands there and, like, doesn't, and I'm like, okay, maybe you're not a dog person, so I, like, pull Shadow away to be like, oh, no, okay, we keep going, sort of thing. And I was like, yeah, he's a lurcher, he's, like, a greyhound mix and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, does he, I don't know how it was, but basically it was kind of like, oh, has he raced or whatever? And I was like, no, I've had him, like, since he was a puppy. He only races for fun, you know, like he only runs when he wants to, sort of thing. And the guy was kind of like, oh, have you ever been to the greyhound races? It's always older men that are like, oh, greyhounds, they're racing and stuff like that. So he's like, oh, have you ever been to the races? And I was like, no. And he's like, why, you against them or something? And I was like, no, I've just never been. Because I wasn't going to have a conversation with this random stranger about the, you know, ethics and things about, you know, training animals to do stuff and whatever. But I was just kind of like, I've just never been. And he kind of was like, oh. And, like, didn't know what to do with that information. And just kind of, like, stared at me like I was the weirdo. And I was like, sir, you acknowledged my dog and then didn't acknowledge him. So I don't know what your game is. But yeah. You ever seen the racing? No. Why, you against it? No, I've just never been. And he, like, looked at me like I was nuts. And I was like, sorry. Like, whatever. But yeah, it was very interesting. It was a very interesting interaction. Okay, next I'm gonna do like a bolette style chonky mushroom, I think. It is interesting though, because like I said, when we ran into the shadow cousin, like the actual other greyhound, Because it's so weird. Like, I go back and forth. Like, there are moments where I realize, like, Shadow is a large dog, and I'm like, damn, boy, like, you a large dog, you know what I mean? And then other days, like, I'll see him next to, we were across the street from this greyhound, but this was, like, a pure greyhound, and I'm like, oh, yeah, you're definitely mixed with other things and smaller than a traditional greyhound, or, like, a purebred greyhound. So yeah, he just looked so small next to, like, across from this other one. Mind you, too, I guess because this one was, like, an X-racing one, so it was, like, I don't know if you see, like, when you see greyhounds, obviously they have really skinny legs, but, like, their chest just looks like pure muscle, and it just looks like if that ran into you, like, you would break something. And so, yeah, this one was thick, and so I was like, yeah, no, Shadow's just a baby. He's just a little baby. I finished this book yesterday and was so cute. It made me cry, and Chris was shooting me weird eyes the rest of the night because I was grumpy. It was over. That does happen sometimes, with media, where you're just kind of like, it was such a fun experience. It was such a nice thing to be a part of, the atmosphere of it all, and then for it to just, like, cease to exist. I get that. I've been like that with shows. I always talk about Poco's Udon World. I was so devastated when it was done. I was like, what do you mean I don't get to exist in this cute little world anymore? I don't understand. Why would you deprive me of this? I actually read a couple more chapters of the book that I started like a month ago. I read the introduction chapter and then just hadn't, and then because Liam's been working the early shift this week, and so usually what happens is he goes into the office and then, like, or he goes to bed early, and then I just stay up watching random shit on TV when there's not even, like, anything that interesting on before I finally decide, like, just go to bed. And so the other day, I was like, I'm actually gonna read a book and, like, be whatever and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, it was very nice. It was a pleasant experience. I'm not sure how, like, the book's okay, but it's like, it's basically, I don't know, I think Liam got it for me from, like, Urban Outfitters around Christmas time. Like, I love reading about love, and it was just like, oh, so cute. Aw, amazing. You know, I'm reading a nonfiction book, about, what is it called? It's called, like, What Would the Spice Girls Do? And it's basically looking at, like, the millennial generation and growing up and how, like examining the Spice Girl legacy through, like, a feminist lens, and how we, like, interpolated the lessons growing up as children, and how looking back we can, like, ascertain those sorts of things, like, in adulthood. And it's cute so far. It's kind of like nostalgic feminism light. The only thing, though, I will say, because I was, because this book is based in the UK, it's a UK-based author, so a lot of the references of, like, yeah, back in the day when you would shop at this specific store to get your, like, glitter things to do whatever, like, I had shops in Canada that were those equivalents, but they weren't the exact ones by name, so some of the references get kind of lost on me, because I was like, I don't know what that store is, I don't think it exists anymore, but it was obviously, like, the Claire's or, like, the Justice store that, like, was where I was, but they were called something different here. So that was interesting. There was a lot of French in it, so I had to Google a lot. Oh, it's based in Quebec. The Québécois. Ho ho ho. Merci beaucoup. Sorry, that was my... Oh, 100%, 100%. So it is very interesting going back over it and then, like, learning about, and even just the fact, like, something as simple as the fact that a lot of boy bands and girl bands, I never had Limited 2, but I knew what Limited 2 was. I think we all had Claire's, though. So Claire's was, like, that was the jewelry part of it. But yeah, I don't remember having limited 2. We had this store called like Justice, but I think it was like Justine or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. But, and then, yeah, so just the fact that like a lot of boy bands and girl bands at the time, they were very like, I can't remember what the word is, but they were all the same. So they were expected to like all dress the same and all look like very similar and stuff like that. Whereas like the Spice Girls were one of the first bands being like, oh no, we're all different archetypes of a person, which you could say, obviously there are problematic elements of that they were distilled into those specific identities and stereotypes. But I think the way that this book is kind of looking at it, which I do think has some relevance, where it takes the understanding that at least they were different, at least there were all these differences, and it's sort of articulated to young girls, young boys, like young people, that, oh, you can have a group of friends and you don't all have to be the same. You can all bring like your unique take into a situation and like your unique personality and whatever, and like, yeah, and like your valid sort of thing. Obviously, if you maybe didn't feel like you could fit into any of the archetypes of the Spice Girls, like that would be a different thing. But yeah, Claire's where I got my ears pierced on that lesson on that. Yeah, I think I got my ears pierced the first time at Claire's, and then the second time I let them grow in, and then I think the second time it was at like a hair salon. Because I know they mentioned, like, now I know that if you go get, like, piercings, you should actually go to a tattoo shop and, like, use a needle and, like, not the guns. But you live and learn, right? Alright. I think we should try. The only thing I'm finding with my, like, Amanitas is they're kind of looking a bit like strawberries. These ones are okay. But this one, I was like, this just looks like an upside down strawberry with a stem on it. But that's okay. I went to Professional last time. Yeah, that's probably smart, probably safe. Who thought that, you know, we should give like 16, 17-year-old girls who work retail the ability to poke holes into children and adults, but it was mostly children, let's be real. Actually real. Oh, that's not bad. I had mine done in a jewelry shop, I think. Done with the gun. Got infected, no surprise. Got them redone 2 years later, also with the gun, but they survived. Yeah, I got mine redone. I got mine done with the piercing gun twice. I think they closed in or whatever. And then the second time I got them done, the gun actually got stuck. So the gun, like, I think it like goes in, puts the stuff in. And then it's like meant to go like sort of thing, but mine went and then it didn't come out again. Eventually it did, and like it didn't hurt. It was one of those where the girl was like, oh shit, and then I got my ears pierced for free because they felt so bad that the gun got stuck in my ear for a minute. But yeah, so that happened. It's good that it didn't, because I think it would have been really traumatic if that like had actually caused problems, but it was more just like, because I think I was older. I was like an older teenager at the time. If I was a child, I would have been freaking out. But yeah, if I was a kid, like I was older and I was just kind of like, so they got it undone. They didn't have to like fully do anything. I think they just needed to like, you know, or like manually untwist it or do something with it. But it managed to like, I came out unscathed, but they were horrified and I was like, you know, whatever. I got my seconds done at Claire's too, got infected and closed. You went to an actually piercing shop? Yeah, definitely. And I would assume too, like, I know obviously probably like here, like your lobes maybe you could get, but I would assume any sort of cartilage place, you would have to go to like a tattoo shop, like an actual piercing studio. Yeah, I don't know, man. Okay. Good stretchers for at least a decade. Right. Yes. They're still stretched though, right? But then you have a second hole, so you wear your like, what are they called, like spacers or whatever in your first hole, but then the other one, then you can wear like normal earrings. That's cool. That's clever. It gives you options, you know? Drove to Atlanta for my last one. My mom wants to go next time, and I think I'm gonna get my second. Oh, cool. Why not, eh? I have a hard enough time just, like, remembering to wear earrings in general. I think the most I wore earrings was when I was working at Pandora, because that was, like, part of our uniform. We were, like, if you had pierced ears, you were obligated to wear, like, Pandora earrings during your shifts at Pandora. So I made sure to, like, so I wore earrings the most I had ever worn in my life. I had, like, a purpose and a reason to do it. I find that with, like, jewelry in general, I really struggle. I think you know what it is, and it's so, like, unnecessary, but it's almost like I want to be prepared for anything. And so, you know, I feel like if you're covered in, like, jewelry and rings or whatever, if I just, like, on a whim decide I'm gonna go dig in the garden and stuff like that, or, like, oh, I should do some dishes or whatever, like, sometimes my motivation is so fleeting. If there's such a simple barrier to, like, oh, well, you have, like, really intricate jewelry on, or, like, you got makeup on, or, like, whatever, that would be like, nope, too fancy for this. Like, I can't do this today. But yeah, I really want my nose ring, but my body reacts to shit weird. Yeah. I have an actual, like, red dot on the side of my nose, and I don't know when this occurred. I feel like it was only in my, like, later adulthood. And it's so annoying to me. I also have one on the tip of my nose, but I feel like that was left over from, like, but I don't know if it's, like, a broken blood vessel or something like that. I think the one on the tip of my nose is a broken blood vessel, but the one here is, like, a bump, but it's not a zit. It's just, like, I don't know, man, but it's annoying. So I do have these, like, red splotches on my nose that I'm, like, not a fan of. That's why, you know, if people will be like, oh, where's your good side? I'm like, the right side of my face is my good side because my blotchy red something or other is on the other side. My nose with the first face piercing. I want to get the other side done, too. Oh, yeah. That's cute. I have a bit of a button nose, so I think the chain would sit perfectly on it. Aw, cool. Yeah. I really wanted, I think, I don't know, every once in a while I go back and forth. I just think it would be fun to have a little nose ring, like, with a little hoop or whatever. But I remember when I was talking about it, my mom, like, jokingly gave me shit. She was like, why would you get a nose ring? People my age are getting nose rings. Like, that's not cool. And I was like, whatever, Mom, don't shame me for my interests. I'm sure she meant it in jest, though. I feel like if I went and got one, she wouldn't be like, that's lame, you know? She wouldn't be like that. It was just funny. But my friend had one, and I was talking about, like, oh, yeah, it would be interesting to get one. And she's like, because I already have issues with, like, sinuses and stuff like that, and I don't like, I don't know, like, you know when you feel like you have a nose crusty, and sometimes you don't even have a nose crusty, but just the feeling of it, you're like, I gotta go digging in there and, like, fix shit up in my nose. So I would assume that having a nose ring would just feel like that all the time. And then also, too, my friend was very honest with me. She was like, yeah, and then sometimes your nose hairs, like, get tangled in it, and I was like, that's an interesting predicament I didn't consider. So, do your nose hairs get tangled in your nose ring? Is that a manageable discomfort that you're able to, like, get over? Because that is now something that I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I could handle that. Your nose ring has flowers on it? Oh, that's amazing. Aw, 3 Marie, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate you. I'm so glad you're here. Okay. Did you guys have, so one of the things that I bought, or I don't know if I got it in a loot bag, probably got it in a party bag or something like that. You can see my brain looking at my nose. I wish I could have a nose ring, look decent, but I'm sure, yeah, I don't know, a bougie bat. Hey man, that would be a look though. That could be a look. I don't have long enough nose hairs to do that. That's fair, that's good. Maybe that's just like, that's a specific subset of people problem. Yeah. I had one of those. Did you guys ever have, like, the spring-loaded fake piercings? I had a blue spring-loaded, like, hoop, and so I used to wear that on my nose or, like, on my lip and, like, I think sometimes when we would have spirit days at school, we'd have, like, Rockstar Day or, like, something like that, and so I would always, like, wear one of those and just thought I was so cool looking. I was like, check me out. Check me out with my fake nose piercing at, like, 11. I'm like 11 years old. I'm so cool. Okay, I think what we'll do, just because, I don't know, there's only so many ideas that I have. I guess I could just do multiples. Doesn't particularly matter. Maybe we just do this first page, and then we paint, see how that goes, do the second one if we have time. Possibly. I forget how long it takes me to draw. Cool. Yes, I still find some old jewelry kicking around. That's amazing. I think, again, when I moved, I probably had to, like, get rid of some stuff. I remember the one time, so you used to get, I think Claire's did them, but there we had one, I don't know if it was a Canadian brand, but there was Claire's, and then we had one called Ardennes or Ardeen's. And they used to do, like, 2 for $10 grab bags, where I think they were just, like, getting rid of old stock and stuff. And so me and my friends used to sit there, and I would, like, feel around in the bags to be like, oh, that's probably, like, a big hair clip, or that's a this, to try to, like, maximize that I would be getting stuff that I thought I would like. But one time I got a bag, and I'm, like, 7 or 8, maybe 10. I don't know, man. Like, childhood all blends together. I was still in primary school. And I got a grab bag, and it had a silver necklace with a circle, and in red coloring said sexy across it. And I was so scandalized and, like, kind of embarrassed that I had this piece of jewelry, that I was, like, 8 years old and owned a necklace that just said, like, sexy on it. And I'm like, who wears these things? Even as a child, I was like, this seems weird. This seems like a weird thing to have. So for years, it just, like, was shoved in my jewelry box as, like, this secret of, like, oh my god, the scandal. But yeah, you could usually tell if there were hair clips in there. You could usually feel if it was a variety pack of earrings as well, if there was, like, a lot of bumpies and stuff in, like, sort of short proximity of each other. You're like, those are earrings. There were certain things that you could sort of feel. But yeah, then the shopkeepers would be like, you're not gonna sit there and just, like, feel around in a bag. You gotta pick one. And I was like, okay, whatever. But yeah, it's fun stuff. I guess we could try, we can attempt the Santarelle mushroom. I'm actually happy with that guy. So maybe we try that one. Ardennes still does them. That's amazing. That would be fun. That would be quite a nostalgic situation to go and buy a grab bag. I'll have to check because there's Claire's here. There's a couple Claire's, like, here. I wonder if Claire's does them. That would be a wild experience. I'm sure there'd be, like, a Squishmallow. There's a lot, like, especially Claire's now, and I don't know if it was always the case, because it's weird, because Claire's has, like, their kind of prom section, which is very glittery, very, like, occasion-based, whatever. And then it has, like, Squishmallows and, like, JoJo Siwa stuff, and, you know, all these, it's, like, very, I don't know, man. It's, like, it doesn't know what it wants to be. It is geared more kids-based, but then it also has things that, like, I don't think children would be buying. It would be more, like, teenagers going to dances and stuff like that. But yeah, it's very strange. I'm like, Claire's is having a bit of an identity crisis right now. And it's fine. We all go through it. We all have those moments. Maybe we could do, like, a cluster. If we sort of, like, start from here. It's like, let's try and do the stems first and see if don't know. I don't know. We'll just keep going with it. If we just like pretend that like this is like a log or something. And then there's like a cluster of things growing out of here. Herm. Don't know. We're not sure, but we're going with it. We're working with it. Guess we can go through the book and see if we can find other things, but let's see. Let's just like, you know, cluster through. I guess they don't all have to be connected. Like they could be like this and like kind of all exist. You know? But see, these guys are all like quite connected. I think it's like trying to connect everything, but like not make it look super messy. I don't know. We'll see. We'll make it less like Medusa's hair situation and a bit more like there will be some connections and some not connections. We'll see. Let's try. Let's experiment and try different things. This guy. And then we can get one sort of here. Maybe, sort of, kind of, maybe. Sort of, kind of, maybe. Okay. Maybe. Sure. Let's see. Maybe we try to make these guys like a little more flatter, a less like interesting. Maybe, or is it doing that thing? Maybe we need to fix the camera a bit. The only problem when we do this is that when Shadow is cute and does things with his feet, we can't then go over and look at it. Okay, that looks really blurry. We need to fix that. Okay, what's going on here? No, that's blurry. Sure. I don't know. We might have to fix it again. Better than it was. It's better than it was. That's fine. Okay. I don't hate it, but we're work in progressing over here. Here we go. We like this one. Okay. Maybe that's all it needs. Just needs cleaning up a little bit. Oh yeah, okay, cool. We're in the zone. It's like, speaking of in the zone, has anyone heard, has the song come out yet? Didn't like Britney Spears release a new song with will.i.am? Has that come out? My lunch today is nacho cheese and chips. I don't know if you've seen the girl dinner TikToks. Yeah. To be fair, I made myself microwave nachos today. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. Yeah. Yeah, same. But yeah, I had Doritos with melted cheese and little pieces of ham. And then I have salsa on it. And then we have the like Doritos nacho cheese sauce. And then I put blobs of that on it too. Mwah. It's brilliant. I love it all the time. Though I'm sure, I don't know, man. It's one of those things where I'm always aware. I think of all of, like, I think it's only because my mom, for a while, like, she was having a lot of issues with sodium. And so she was always looking at, like, the sodium content in things. And I feel like that's one of the, whatever the big, you know, people have issues, like, they're really into sugar or they're really, like, I don't know, man. For me, it's the sodium. I'm sure I have a very sodium heavy, I found out recently you can get canned nacho cheese. Honestly, that's incredible. Is it like the nacho cheese like that you would have at the cinema? Like at the movie theater at like a carnival? The like fluorescent orange good? Cause that, yeah, that's incredible. Okay, we need to sort this guy out. That's amazing. I love that discovery for you, because I would definitely be all about that life. For sure. Okay, I don't think this one is big enough. That's better, actually. Okay. No, I love, to be fair, usually when I go to the cinema, go to the theater, the last time I had ice cream and popcorn, but you know what it is? I think it's because I had a bad nacho experience at the theaters here. But I love me some nacho cheese. I think what it was is I had nachos at the theater because I had like an absolute craving for them. And the salsa was disgusting. I don't know what it was about it. Like it just, I don't know, it tasted sour. Like it was just not good. I wonder if it like had gone off or whatever. But I had like such a bad movie nacho experience. The salsa was rank. And so I've not had it in a while. Though, again, I had my own nachos today, so it was okay. That is one of my go-tos, my go-to lunches. I'm sure my cholesterol levels. I don't know what sodium, I think sodium impacts cholesterol. I don't know enough about it. But nothing. I've probably gone off. I don't do the salsa bit. No, you don't. That's fair. If I could, I don't think they would, like, again, I'm sure, because I was thinking, like, I would maybe do, like, sour cream and nacho cheese, but I can't imagine movie theaters serving sour cream. That would be, yeah. I feel like, I don't know, something about the thought of movie theater sour cream, you know it's gonna be bad, you know? It's probably better if we don't. Let's don't and say we did, you know? Okay. Excuse me. I was thinking, because tomorrow I was planning on working on my Howl's Moving Castle cross stitch, but I have a feeling that we're not gonna obviously get all these pages done. It might be that we do we do most of the drawing phase today, and then tomorrow we go in and do the painting phase. I think that's what we're gonna do. I think we're going to work on these tomorrow instead. That's the plan. We're going off script, guys. Plans are allowed to change. We're allowed to move and flow and ebb and grow and all that good stuff. trying to do this on an angle, but I'm not very good at it. There we go. Sure. Sorta, kinda, maybe. I'm not mad at it. Okay. What do we want to do? Oh yeah, chanterelle. Possibly. Let's do that over here, maybe. Just kind of like copying one that I've already done. Or attempting to. Oh, it was so funny the other day. I was talking to my neighbor because Shadow was over there barking because she had a friend over who also had a dog, and then her dog, Louie, was outside, and she was saying, I think she gets, I don't know if she's like anxious about it or, because she always talks about how Louie's not really like very good at being a dog. So Shadow will like bark hello at him, and Louis just like in his own little world, like couldn't give two shits about Shadow being next door, but his tail is wagging, so he obviously like knows Shadow is there and like is kind of excited to see him, but like won't say anything. And she's kind of like, you're like almost like, okay, you're being rude, like acknowledge him sort of thing. But she was saying how he doesn't like have a lot of doggy friends, and so her friend came over with her dog. And I guess they're like playing together, but then what happens is like Louis gets really excited, and then she says he turns into a bit of a sex pest and just like tries to hump her friend's dog. They're both boys. But yeah, so he kept on getting told off, and I was like, oh, did you like get him when he was like neutered or something like that? And then she was like, oh no, the like vet or the behavioralist said like it didn't matter sort of thing, but then like other people say different things, and it was very similar like when we were going through that process with Shadow, when we finally decided like, okay, we'll do this sort of thing. But I was joking, I was like, yeah, like before we got Shadow done, he like religiously, like he still has this thing where it's like at like 8 p.m, it's usually like after he eats dinner sort of thing, he like wants to play. He's in like super happy fun playtime mode. But before he got neutered, he would just like get super horned up and like want to hump things, always like around the same time of the day. And so we got him pillows like a proper teenage boy. And so he used to just like hump pillows religiously at certain times of the day. So I was joking with her about that. I was like, yeah, it happens. It's fine. But it was really funny because she has like like an outdoor storage bin kind of underneath or like against the fence that we share. So she had that there, and then her friend's dog jumped up on the storage bin to pop himself up on the fence so that like I could say hi to him and give him pets and stuff, because Shadow's tall enough that he just like pops himself up on the side of the fence to like say hi and things. But yeah, so the dogs had figured out that they could also jump up and say hi, and so my neighbor was like, oh shit, maybe that wasn't the best place for that. I was like, doesn't matter to me. But yeah, so she gets concerned. But I was like, I didn't think to suggest it, but I think it would probably be cool if like, because we've not been able, like, I don't think we've come across them, like, out. We saw them on walks, actually, like, when we were both on lead. And Louis seemed excited to see Shadow, and I think Shadow was excited to see him. So I think it would be fun to, like, arrange a play date for them, just to see if they would get along. Because I was like, well, Shadow's too tall for, because Louis is like a spaniel mix. I'm like, Shadow's too tall to get, you know, fooled around with by your dog. So I think they'd be okay. But I also think too, like, there's something to be said about, because I remember when we were like watching dog training videos and stuff like that, when we got Shadow, one of the things that dog trainers will say is, like, the best teachers to, like, train your dog is other dogs. So, like, I would assume, like, you know, they kept kind of stepping in, like, and you would, right? Like, rightfully so, to try to stop your dog from, like, pissing off another dog and stuff like that, because you want to try to avoid something. But then sometimes it's, like, you know, you sort of have to, I don't know, like, again, I don't know if it's a good idea. Depends, like, if the dog will be like, I'm absolutely not having any of this bullshit. But I would have assumed that the dog wouldn't have minded, and then if it did mind, it would have told him off, and then that's kind of how, it's like with anything, right? Like, probably like with kids and stuff too, where they will push boundaries just to see what they can get away with. And so it could be that, like, the only way that he's gonna learn that he can't be doing those sorts of things is if he does it to a dog and the dog, like, tells him off, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, we didn't have to teach Ella how to use the doggy door and go outside and pee because Gus taught her. Yeah, exactly. She'll learn to sit and stay. Exactly, yeah. So I do think that there's something to be said for dogs teaching other dogs. But yeah. I just thought that was funny. That she was like, yeah, he turns into a sex pest. And I was like, well. It's like, to be fair, he's still got his balls. And that's one of the things that they say with, But he says he's not like that on walks, which is good. Because I know that that's, like, a potential concern when you have a dog that's not neutered, if they're off lead and stuff like that, like, they might find a dog that they're like, wait a second, and they might try to get involved, if you will. But he doesn't seem to do that, apparently, so that's good. But yeah, so I'm hoping, you know, maybe one day Shadow and Louis can be besties. Because it would be nice. Like, I don't know. I think it would be nice for him to, like, have someone to go on play dates with. He has his little girlfriend that lives, like, down the road. But we've just, I don't know, like, they used to say, like, oh, yeah, like, come over. Like, it would be great for our dogs to play together and stuff like that. But then, like, I don't know, like, it's this thing where then I feel weird that I'm like, okay, do we, like, exchange contact details? Do I just rock up to your house? Like, what's the protocol here? How does this work? But yeah, so it'd be nice if, like, you know, because we're neighbors, they're just outside. It'll be like, oh, like, I'll just, you know, send my dog over into your yard and see how that goes, sort of thing. But yeah. Because Shadow's got some doggy friends, because our friends have dogs, and he's, you know, he plays with them and stuff, but they're a bit farther away, so, like, our meetups are kind of few and far between. But he's also just, I don't know, he seems content. He's fine being a people dog, I think. Some dogs are, eh? Like, some dogs are just like, nah, I'd just rather hang out with humans. I don't really give a shit about other dogs. I think Shadow's, like, a bit of an, you know, I'm, like, personalizing, or is it, like, projecting? But because when we go out for walks and stuff, Shadow will get, like, really excited out the gate to be like, oh my god, like, I'm gonna, like, maybe, like, he'll find a dog that he wants to play with sometimes, and then other times he's like, nah, I'm good. Like, you can literally tell, and it's so similar, because it's similar to me too, where I'm like, okay, I'm socializing, I'm like, I am socially burnt out now, the social meter has been full, I need to go do introvert recharge time. And Shadow's the exact same way. He'll, like, run around with the dog for a little bit, and sometimes the dogs will, like, still be interested in him, and so the tactic that Shadow does is, because he's so much faster than them, he'll run So, like, he'll run to the other side of the field. He can still see me, but he kind of runs off to be like, okay, I'm trying to create distance, hoping that this dog will go back to their owner. And then, of course, the only problem is when I'm trying to get him to go a different way, and he's like, nah, dude, you gotta come to me. I'm like, okay, fine, I guess so. All right, we got potential Santrel. It's always one of those things, and that's one of the things that I was asking somebody where I'm like, okay, visual artists, is visual art just like 99% of the time not being happy with what you make, and then you have to like take a step back, and then you come back after not looking at it for a while and you go, wait a second, that's not that bad. So that's what I feel like has been happening with me with some things. I'll like sit there and I'll be like, this doesn't look right, this looks dumb, this looks weird, and then I take a step back and then I come back and I go, wait a second, that's cute. The festival really socially drained me. Past few days I've probably spoken to anyone. Yeah, it's true. I would assume the festivals would absolutely do that. Especially because you're like in close quarters with strangers, you're like interacting. Yeah, that definitely would do it. You know what I mean? You're like, and I'm in recharge mode now. Okay. What else have we got? Let's consult this book and see if we can't come up with any. Because the thing is, not being funny, a lot of mushrooms look the same. That's why it's so difficult to like identify them, you know? But, well, to be fair, there's a bunch. Another thing too is there are ones that are like pretty cool looking, but I don't know. I was trying to draw like brackets and stuff like that. I've not mastered how to do that yet. That is still a Tasha work in progress. Like to make these little kind of clusters and stuff like that. Yeah. My skills are lacking in that area. But yeah, there's other ones that kind of look like, I guess the other thing too is I guess I could do things that are more like textured, I guess. Not textured, but like different kind of cap shades. It drained me physically, mentally, and socially. I believe it. You went camping for the first time. You set up a tent. You know what I mean? And then also you had to sleep on the ground, and sometimes that's really nice, but sometimes that is uncomfortable. So I could see that being a problem. Absolutely. Tara Astra, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate you being here. I hope you're having a fabulous Thursday. But yeah, I see like these guys. Like maybe some like coral fungi. But I don't know. The cauliflower looks cool too. Maybe we attempt some coral. Possibly. I would think that if we can just make it kind of look like coral, like look like phalanges and stuff, then that might be okay. But then it might not look like a mushroom. But I guess if I just tell you, I write on the back of it, this is the mushroom, and then maybe it would be okay. I don't know, we'll see. We'll try. Maybe we try it over here. I'm gonna try it on a skinny one. Maybe we try it on a skinny guy. So it looks like chunk. So like a chunky stem. Let's do, okay, step 1, chunky stem. And then I bought my first watercolor paints and I'm in my mushroom era right now, but haven't put brush to paper yet. Oh my god. Are we the same person? Yeah. You just bought, so I bought my watercolor paints a few weeks ago and have also been in my mushroom era. So we're obviously very kindred spirits. Haven't put brush to paper yet. Oh, I'm excited for you to try. Let me find out, there was this, again, let me find out the YouTube channel that I watched. I spent like 3 hours on Monday just like learning. Let me find the actual channel that I was watching. This one, Allison Lyon Art. So she then did a playlist about watercolor basics and stuff, and so that's what I ended up watching. So this is like literally, and then I think this was like the very first one, and then she did a couple other ones. So I watched like the first 3 or 4, because then eventually she goes into like actual tutorials, whereas that one was just kind of like, you've never watercolored in your life, let me walk you through it. So I found that very helpful. So yeah. Okay, let's attempt some coral looking phalanges. I would assume this is very similar to like drawing trees, you know? Whoa, sir. You're not gonna, oh damn. He was like, okay. He got up to move around and he was like ass up facing me and then just looked at me when I called him out. I was like, thanks, bud. What a view. What a view, Shadow. Yeah, for you guys who don't know, that's Shadow. He's, I guess you're 2.5 now, bud. 2.5-year-old lurcher doggy. Absolutely obsessed with him. I am glorified. I'm one of those obnoxious dog moms. And I used to have a lot of... I used to be very concerned. I used to try to resist it, but I am fully... Yeah. fully one of those crazy dog moms. Abso-toot-and-lutely. But yeah, sometimes he shows up. He makes his appearance, but other times he's like, nah, I don't care. Usually what happens, he'll come over and say hi. Usually when we're like finishing up stream, because he's like, yo mom, you've been doing this for 3 hours. It's time to give me attention. Like, stop what you're doing. But sometimes he doesn't. So we'll see. We'll see which version of him we get today. If we get a visit from him at all. Okay, that's like first layer, and then we'll do other layers. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, if anyone else, this is again sitting on my soapbox. I've not looked at it in a while, and honestly I find it not very helpful with fungi, but if anyone is in their like forest core plant identification phase, I recommend this app called Seek. I've talked about it many times on this channel. It's called Seek by iNaturalist, and so you can go in your area and scan different plants and things, and then it will log and try to identify them for you. But they have like plants, they have mushrooms, what is it? They have all these different types of, so yeah, plants, fungi, birds, insects, mammals, arachnids, mollusks, amphibians, fish, reptiles, and other. And then there's different challenges, so you can look into different challenges, which is like, I don't know, this one here is like find 3 of these species or whatever. The only thing I found though is that with the mushrooms, because again, like I said, so many mushrooms look the same, because even like via this plant identification book, so a lot of times what'll happen is it'll get stuck on like, it goes from like order, family, whatever the order is for identification, and then it will get to like the genus, and usually it stops. It usually stops 3 or 4 marks before it gets to species, because they're like, there's like a bajillion brown mushrooms, And I'm like, I'm sorry, this is like the best angle. They go, try a different angle. And I'm like, I literally cannot. This is all you can get. I don't know what to tell you. And then they go, sorry, we're not identifying it for you then. And I'm like, ugh. But it helps because it'll get to a certain point, and if you remember that, like I wrote them down, and then I could cross-reference in this book to at least be like, well, it could be one of these two things. I don't trust myself, like, to ever eat something because I don't know if you know what I mean? So a forager I am not, though I would love to take a foraging class. I think that would be so fun. I don't know how spiky these are supposed to be, but it's fine. I feel like this started out okay, and now it's kind of going off the rails, but it's fine. Oh. Someone has detected an intruder from his slumber. I don't know about this one. That's fine though. We're learning, we're experimenting, we're trying new things. I think the front part looks nice, but this is the back end. I think because I was following this like reference photo and it was turning out okay, but then, hello, did you save the neighborhood? Yeah? Did you save the neighborhood, Shadow? From whatever you thought it was out there? Yeah? Hello. How you doing? Okay, so I think we like the first part, but we need to finesse the second part. I guess we could maybe make these a little bit bigger too. Maybe that's what it is. We didn't go bold enough. We didn't go, you know, harder, better, faster, stronger. Okay, that one might have been too aggressive. That was too aggressive. There we go. Let's not that intense. Let's just tone her down a smidge. Just a smidge. Okay, tea, more tea. Maybe this guy comes out here a bit more. Okay, we're happy with this. Okay. Perhaps. I'm trying to be a bit more... I think the only thing is, like, obviously there's no... It doesn't matter, like, I'm not trying to. The sea gap is too much fun. It is, isn't it? Honestly, like, now when I go for walks with Shadow, I just, like, am constantly running around being like, what's the... I'm like Jack Skellington in the beginning of Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm like, what's this? What's this? Do, 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 do. And I'm just, like, scanning shit all around the neighborhood, trying to figure out what it is. It's a blast. Highly recommend. My mom actually found it because while she was here, she wanted to find, like, she wanted to be able to identify some of the plants that were in the area. And then also the plants that were in, like, our garden, because she was like, okay, well, you got to figure out how to, like, maintain the plants that you have, because we didn't know. And so she was like, well, there's obviously different plants in the UK than in Canada. So, and I think my aunt actually, like, Googled it or, like, looked on the App Store and found it. But yeah, I think the thing too is because my mom and I, because we're very, like, my mom is very competitive. I don't think I'm very competitive, but I do like an external motivator. So the fact that this app gives you, like, badges and achievements, I love a good achievement. I love a good digital pat on the back. Job well done, good job. You know what I mean? So the fact that this app was giving that to me, I was like, damn, external validation. Okay. I think because these bits are looking a bit samey, but I kind of don't really know what else. I think this is going to be one of those ones that we're going to have to, like, step away from it and, again, check back in with it tomorrow. Yeah, okay. Resisting that urge to run around outside right now. Honestly, the the desire is real. You should, honestly. Take yourself for a walk and just be that person around the neighborhood, just, like, zooming in on stuff. It's good. If anything, too, though, it's been really interesting because even, like, I don't use it as often because a lot of, like, I walk very similar routes in my neighborhood, and so a lot of the stuff I've already wanted to know what it is. I've already, like, attempted to scan it. But it does help me notice things. Like, for instance, I was able to, like, scan, like, a bumblebee or whatever. I think it's called, like, a white-tailed one. And that's the other thing, too. You realize how many different types of species there are. Because I went the other day to scan, like, a buttercup, and I'm like, a buttercup is a buttercup is a buttercup, right? No, it is not, my friends. There are, like, 12 different types of buttercups, and I'm like, who knew? Who knew? But yeah, what was the name of it? So now, especially because a lot of people grow lavender in their gardens here, and there's a lot of bees that are around, and so I, like, notice them, and I'm like, oh, you're this thing. I say this as I cannot currently remember what the name of it is, but I recognize it. Yeah, a white-tailed bumblebee. I thought maybe it was more intense than that of a name. I love how it's, like, Latin name is called Bombus. Bombus lucorum. I'm like, bombass. White-tailed bumblebee. But yeah, and now I see them everywhere, and I'm like, oh my god, like, that's really cute. Like, you know what I mean? It's fun to have, like, I don't know, to have knowledge about your surroundings and stuff. Okay, let's conceptualize a couple more. We'll probably just do some, like, basic bitch ones because we can. But yeah, I do need to up my, like, I think the problem with these guys, like, with all the polypores and stuff, all these turkey tails and whatever, they probably they require a lot of shading to get, like, dimension and understanding of what they are. And that is something I'm not very good at the moment. That's something I'm still learning how to do. So, this puffball's kind of cute, though. Maybe we can do some puffballs. Puffballs, they're, like, pretty basic, but why not? Let's just, like, make a basic bitch puffball. Ooh, spiny puffball. That's fun. They're like a hedgehog. That's fun. Maybe let's attempt. I don't know. We'll just make a generic puffball. That actually might be better for here because I feel like it's quite a stocky, like, quite a short thing. And then it's like, boom, you know? feel like this is when I'm like, oh, I don't know how to draw a circle. It also kind of looks like the side profile of like the mushrooms that you get in the grocery store, but that's okay. It's like a button mushroom, ping pong paddle, something of that nature, but that's okay. Okay. Should I attempt to draw some spikies off of it? Spiny puffball covered with long brown spikes. Sure. Let's turn this into a hedgehog of sorts. Let's try it. Okay. I think the instinct is to try to make all of the like spikes go in the same direction. But from looking at this, it's almost like you have to like spike ball in a circle almost. Easier said than done. Yeah. Why is it so difficult to make spikes on an angle? What's going on? There we go. That's better. It's kind of like giving sea urchin vibes as well. It's an anemone. Anemone. It's an anemone. That's not what Finding Nemo says. I live in an anemone. They're ordering us fancy lunch tonight. Damn. You're like, listen, I'm a simple girl. There's only one thing that I want for lunch, and that's a can of cheese, baby. Honestly, I would be the same way. They're like, or, hear me out. Cheese in a can. You're like, I appreciate you taking the time to show you care by ordering me fancy lunch, but you know, that just means you don't know me very well. This was interesting. Again, I don't know if this is, we've gone too ham with the spikes, but listen, it's fine. Isn't that the thing with art, where like it's an artistic representation of the thing, so it doesn't have to be 100% accurate? We're just, you know, doing our own thing, trying things out. I guess we'll just have it for dinner instead. That's big brain thinking. That's big brain thinking. I would 100%. cute. I don't know if it's enough spikies, but I don't know if maybe you don't want them to be too many spikies. Sure. Spiny puffball. Sorta, kinda, maybe. See, I do want to... Should we attempt? I'm a bit concerned. See, I would like to draw this. I have concerns about what I think it might get misconstrued to look like. But maybe we try anyway. I'm very concerned though. That's a cool one. I like this one. We'll try to do this one too. A collared Earth star. This looks like an alien spaceship of things. Maybe if we draw more than one, then it will be okay. It was so make someone laugh. I guess that's true. I guess that's true. I think the problem is if we make one, then it could be a problem. If we make a couple, then maybe it'll be okay. Maybe it'll be okay. Let's try. Let's attempt. Look, we'll even make 3. We'll try to do this photo because then hopefully, you know, it'll look like mushrooms and less like a bag of dicks. Let's hope not. There are worse things. It's okay, actually. To be fair, I feel like a lot of mushrooms are already kind of like phallic shaped anyway, so we might as well lean into it. It's fine, guys, it's fine. There's like an egg. This later slits. Okay. Bearing a wrinkly. So it's green. So, right, because wasn't it you found a cool photo of these cat that it when this part like it actually looks cool and doesn't look as phallic later on. Honestly, it's not the worst, actually. Though it does kind of look like, I don't know, like there's like empty space here. Maybe we move this guy over. This guy can stay here, but you need to move over. draw the top first. Yep, that's weird. It's not gonna not look like it, but you know, we can, I don't know, I think moving it actually might have made it worse in terms of drawing attention to its girthiness and such, but it's okay. It's fine. Maybe this way is better. It just looks like phalanges. Okay, we have one more. I think I want to try to make this guy because it kind of looks like a spaceship. Looks like a bouquet of weens. I know it does. It does. Yeah. But I love it. That's fair. That's fair. You're right. I do think it will be... People will find it funny, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, not all... There we go. Maybe this helps. It looks less... I don't know, man. Yeah. Bucket of weens. Hey, man. Nature's wild. Nature is interesting. We appreciate nature in all of its forms. Okay. So yeah, let's attempt this guy. So this one kind of just has like a little ball in the middle. See, and now this one kind of looks like a boob, but you know, that's okay. We have equal representation. Alright. So this actually might be too big for what we're trying to accomplish. Smaller boob. Now this just kind of looks like an egg. That's okay. Like, this is where shading comes in. But that's not something I'm very good at. That's alright. If not, it'll just look like an egg yolk. think this will be similar to like my journey with making the chanterelle mushroom, where it'll be a lot of kind of like trial and error, figuring out what doesn't really look like anything, to be honest. You know, it's really funny. I'm always giving the best relationship advice to my friends, but never use the same advice for myself. Maybe it's a secret calling as a marriage counselor, or what is up to with anything you might has nothing. I just don't know what's coming in with. I love your cold opens failings. I appreciate them always. I hope you are well. But yeah, it's always easier to give advice than it is to take advice. 100%. 100%. Because you can provide an objective perspective on things, and that doesn't account for a person's like motivations and a person's like like time frame and all that kind of stuff. So, Probacus, hello, good afternoon. I hope you are well. Okay, I think we're going to attempt something different. Because that one I didn't like. Maybe we do like an oyster mushroom or something. I attempted that earlier. But yeah. No, dude, I get that. I get that for sure. Because I think, yeah, like it's easier to dish out advice than it is to take it. Because, you know, motivation, energy levels, all that stuff. And also perspective. I think sometimes when you're in the middle of something, you can't see, what is it? You can't see the woods through the trees or something like that. Or the trees through the woods. Where you're just kind of like in the middle of it. So it's hard to like have perspective on like what's actually going on. Where are you? Where are you, oyster mushroom? Oyster. 170. Yeah, something like these guys, because then they sort of like branch off. I did attempt to do that at some point. It's kind of similar to a chanterelle in terms of like its swoopy shape, but it's a little bit different. So we're gonna attempt that over here. And then it's probably because I'm medically diagnosed as not good when it comes to relationships that are to mercy advice. I'm like, I don't need this shit. Who do they think I am? Yeah, maybe. I think sometimes too, yeah, it depends on, yeah, what sort of headspace you're in to receive said advice. Maybe your friends are just more receptive than you at receiving advice, and they take your advice and you don't take theirs because you think you don't need it or something. I don't know. Do you have a desire to be right all the time? Sometimes people who always want to be right, or it's not that you want to be right, it's that when you get advice from somebody, sometimes that means you have to admit that what you're doing isn't working or is it wrong, and then that might make you feel things on the inside, and so you might need to, you know, consult with your emotions to see if it's bringing up something for you. Like, I know people who, like, they need to come to conclusions on their own, because it's like you can offer them the advice, but because it's coming from you and it's not something that they've come up with, they instantly are like, no, absolutely not, that's not true, or it can't be that way, when, like, 9 times out of 10 it is. And a lot of times you have to, like, those people, you have to just, like, let them take their time to come to the same conclusion on their own. And it can be very frustrating and hair pulling to have to be privy to that. To be like, honestly, my dudes, it's just so simple. Like, you just need to, like, think about it like this. And then they're like, no, that seems messed up. And then you go, okay, cool, whatever. And then they go, hey, what about this thing? And you're like, oh, yeah, interesting. Yeah, the thing that I was telling you to do from the get-go. Yep, okay, cool. Absolutely. But you can't, like, I don't know, you can't take any of that personally. You just have to be like, listen, everyone comes to the conclusion they need to come to in their own time. I'm not saying that I'm immune to that as well. I think sometimes people, like, especially when you do things a certain way, and then people are like, well, you know, it's just easier if you do it this way. And then I'll be like, no. And then finally you have to be like, you have to check your ego at the door and be like, actually, that was maybe correct. And they are right. And it's okay that they are right. Also get random advice from a stranger that really boiled down to just don't get married. B, do not have kids. Or C, stay single, which makes me wonder what the fuck happened to these people. Yeah, honestly, I know people like that. It's usually because they've been burned too many times, and then instead of thinking, you know, there's however many billions of people in the world, they just assume that none of those people are for them and that they'll forever be alone. And you gotta be like, nah, dude. If it's something that you want in life, you can go after it. It's okay. You'd be like, just because something didn't work out for you doesn't mean it's not gonna work out for me. I think it's like sometimes people are trying to, I don't know, be cautious. They want to like help you avoid being hurt like they have. But at the same time, this coming from an anxious person who will also avoid things that are apparently good for them. When you block yourself out to those experiences, yes, they might hurt you, but they also might make you incredibly happy, and you're not going to know that unless you take the leap. I don't know if I'm trying to do too much here. I think I just need to... something like that. Something like that. Okay. We have completed all of our first round mushrooms. I actually might move this over because I think we've realized that we're not going to work on... Actually, I might as well leave this down. It'll be easier that way. Okay. Let's clear off what we're doing. Because we are now going to enter paint mode. I found out, but obviously it does make sense when you actually think about it, that when you're doing watercolor paints, you need 2 containers of water. You need the water that you're going to use to clean your brushes, and then you need the water, the clean water, to like activate the desired color you want on things. So that was interesting to learn. Even though, like I said, once you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Okay. Now, we need to conceptualize the colors we're going to be using. Let me just get out. So this is, I swatched all of these. So these are the colors in the palette. There's also a white. I was like fucking around with this one. But those are the colors. So I think we're going to be using a lot of brown, obviously. I think it would be really cool to do like blue mushrooms. I think I also want to use this tiny little brush. I did not think about that, right? I didn't think about that either. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. But at the time, it was like one of those where I'm like, okay, I have my water because I'm painting. And they're like, no. 1 water to clean your brushes. 1 water to like activate the paint. And I was like, oh, interesting. But yeah, so we have this. We got, I feel like these are probably the brushes we're going to be using because they are teeny tiny. So, first things first, I'm the realist. We need to kind of figure out what it is we're going to do. So I think it would be probably nice to do maybe this color with the blue, possibly, or maybe this color with the blue, like a rusty color, but we want it to be probably really light. So we're going to attempt, and again, there's no guarantee that these techniques and things are going to work out, but I'm going to try. So apparently what I've learned is there is like a wet on wet technique. I don't think I need to wet the brush, like wet the paper, but basically what happens is I'm going to be wetting the paint, and it's going to be, I don't know, I want to make it like really, really wet. And then when we go to paint, I'm getting paint everywhere. That's not good. When we go to paint the mushrooms blue, I don't want to like fully paint them. I just kind of want to like blob some colors in place. That is going to cause like splotches, sprays, apparently, allegedly. But yeah, so this is our dirty water. This is our clean water. I'm currently mixing as much water as possible into this pan, I guess, to make things as light as possible. We'll see how it goes. Again, second time I've watercolored ever, so who knows? It would be nice though to do like a gradient of sorts. So maybe we take a little bit more and we work it down here. Okay. Now, this is quite wet. There are some, like, blobs. Watch this. They're intended to make jokes about it all the time, which confuses people. I don't know myself. They don't actually enjoy being single, which makes me sound crazy. No, I don't think that's crazy. I think a lot of people do prefer it, in certain, like, you know what I mean? Like, the level of commitment, the not, you know, having to worry about anybody other than yourself. Like, there's lots of positives for people if that's what they're interested in doing. Okay, so now we have to literally soak the shit out of this. Hopefully this doesn't dry before we do this. We want as much water as possible. And then if this is still dry, kind of. I don't know if it's wet enough. Put some down here. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with... Okay, this is like kind of working, but not really. But that's okay. Oh no, it's kind of spreading out now. Okay. I think this might have dried a bit too much. But that's okay. Okay, and then I want to use this guy because it's much smaller. To do the same thing, but with... Oh shit, I put things in my clean brush. Oh, that's gonna be real big, but that's okay. I think I'm actually gonna like that. Okay. Okay. So now that needs to dry. Because my goal is not to... I guess I could maybe... Just with like a bit of water. Because my goal is not to like paint in the... like fully paint them in. I want things to be a bit more abstract in the way that this comes together, with the idea that then the line work over top will then explain to you what it is. You know what I mean? That is what I'm attempting. That's what I'm hoping is gonna happen. But yeah, so now we gotta let this dry. I do want to try maybe doing a gradient, doing like a dry on wet gradient, and then waiting for that to dry and then attempting the wet technique on there, just to see if it works. Because from what I, like, with this one, it was like, okay, the paint is wet, now let's dab some stuff on there to make it, like, splay out and stuff. But then I find, like, okay, we're working really quickly, we're only working with one color, like, let's try, some sort of, like, yeah, some sort of gradient of sorts. Maybe like a green to blue. And then this will be brown. We'll see. So clean water. Okay. Clean water. We want this green. And then I think too, if I remember correctly, we have more time. Okay, green on the bottom. So this is gonna be like our darkest. And then we put this down here. I'm trying to, you know. Apparently these are meant to be like where you mix your paints and stuff like that. So you're supposed to put things like in the palette, and then it's like these are the colors, and then we can add as much water as we want. Okay, let's see if that... It's still pretty dark. What this any lighter? Okay, that's kind of lighter, maybe. Okay, there we go. Okay, and then apparently we can wait for this to dry and then we can like go back in. Because we might have... Okay. So there's our green layer of the gradient. Though I do think maybe I was impatient and didn't... There's like too much water on here. Or when you try to add... I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Cool. Let us attempt. It looks better on the screen. Like you can see it kind of looks more like a gradient on the screen. Okay. Now let's do the same thing. You being a whiny boy, Shadow? Yeah, you being a whiny boy.
It's tea time.
Oh. Thank you for the hydrate. Oh, is it health check time? Yeah? Okay. Oh, I have paint on my hand. I hope I didn't get it on my shirt. I think it's okay. Okay, let's stretch. Let's do a stretch. Let me hear. Other news might get a raise. I know. Honestly, dude, it's so deserved. I cannot wait to hear the fantastic news that you have finally gotten a raise because you've been working your ass off. Truly. If anyone deserves it, it's been you. Ooh. Okay, let's do the blue now. Same thing. But yeah, hopefully you hear back soon. It's like maybe I shouldn't have put all of these drawings as close together as I did. But then also, we wanted to maximize the amount of space we were using. Okay. That is still just as dark. Okay. There we go. That's a bit better. And then we can add a bit more of the dark color up here. So okay. I think we need to just go in with water now and start blending this down. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. Okay, we're kind of, I don't know, we're kind of gradienting. It's not bad, it's not bad. It's not the worst. I think maybe I need like... of just like looking really muddy in the center, but that's okay. We might need to let it dry before we add more, because I think I'm like overwhelming the top part with water, and it's like kind of, I don't know. My instinct is to try to fix it, but I feel like I just kind of need to like leave it. I don't know if it's fixable. It's okay. We will leave it, and then we'll come back to it and attempt to do more with that. Okay. What are some other... Okay, let's do another color combo. Maybe if we do like the lightest wash of brown. And I mean like real watery. That's very dark. Hello, Shadow. I have a half hour. Yeah? Got a half hour. Can you hold off till then? Yeah, can you hold off till then? Okay. Again, trying to do a bit of a gradient. There might be too much water. I don't know. Maybe I should have a good chance of getting the raise. Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, if your manager is saying that, that leads me to believe that it's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. Okay, that looks kind of messy, but it's fine. So now we're going to attempt, I feel like we have a small window of opportunity again. Let's overwhelm. I don't know, this is like a dip, so I'm gonna just like dab and see if that produces anything interesting. Okay. We're also gonna do similar thing with the white. I think the only thing with the white is it probably has to be a certain, like, a bit thicker in order to actually show up in any substantial capacity. But I think we can still, like, dab it, you know? Okay. We'll leave that one as well. But yeah, as much as like these colors, like these are basic colors and stuff, I do again feel like a little bit limited with them. But I think that just is on me to be more creative with my color combos. We'll see. Maybe we do just like a really light green background on this one. We could even use like the bluey green. Maybe. No, I'm gonna stick with this one. The blue green makes me nervous. Don't know why, but okay. Okay, and then maybe this kind of orangey color. I feel like I probably should use this guy. Should I use... Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be very similar color palettes, definitely, until I get like confident with color mixing. I do like how this guy's kind of like blobbed out, so I want to add a bit more. This one really sort of like freaked out. This one's not really doing the same, so I think it might be drying. Though it is getting better, so maybe I just gotta give it time. I decided to be the mean guy for once because I explained this shit before me that I am tired of cleaning up after them, so whatever mistakes they make in the future, I will not be able to save their ass. Honestly, that's good. You're asserting yourself. It's like, do your job. It's like shit or get off the pot, you know what I mean? Okay, there's not enough water in that. Though it is probably nice that it's a bit darker than the stems. I'm okay with that, actually. Okay, that's interesting. It'll be interesting when that dries, what that's gonna look like. Because you can already see how like this kind of, I don't know, like it's a different technique. I think this guy, oh no, whoa, judging by the smudge I just put all over it, that's not dry. Whoops. Okay, we gotta fix that guy. Maybe with this one. There's also this one coworker that if she tries to get me with confrontation with me, I'm literally cheering myself because she always acts like she's better than. Interesting. That's really, yeah, that's like a, I feel like that's like a, probably an insecurity technique, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm gonna try to tell you how to do your job because I'm intimidated by the fact that you're doing a better job than me. I don't know if this, I want to try to use different colors, so we'll see how this turns out, because there is a risk, because this is actually, you're supposed to work light to dark, so this might actually not work out, so maybe I need to wait for this to dry, because then I want to try to put the orange on top. Fuck it, we'll just see how it goes. Let's just attempt. Let's just attempt now and see what happens. We are experimenting. We're kind of like color mixing too, unintentionally. Sure, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when it dries how it turns out. We don't know. We don't know. Now I might try, instead of adding another color, I might just try to make it like really, really dark and then just flood it with water like in this section to see what that looks like. So maybe we try the blue green because it's sort of like corally. I feel like we can get away with like a kind of a different color. So let's try this. This is giving me inspiration and confidence. Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. Definitely. I definitely think that that's the name of the game with this. Yeah. Coming from me who definitely like just wants to be good at something right away. It's been a learning experience to be like, these things take time. Like, not everything is going to turn out the way you want it to. But yeah, especially because, you know, we don't know how these things work. Okay, I think I need a lot. I think I put too much water on here to start. But I'm glad. I'm really excited for you to start your watercolor journey. Because I do find it interesting. There's too much. There's a lot of paint on here. Okay. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Just want to get rid of... Okay. So now we're going to attempt to just overload it with water and see what happens. Thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping once we do the line art, we'll see what happens. Okay. Ooh, this is kind of cool actually. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think it's gonna like 100% look like anything, but it'll just be like a different... Perhaps? Okay, is this dry yet? Probably not. It's getting there. It's getting there. Part of me is impatient. Should we just go? We should go back in, see if we can re-gradient this. Yeah, the chanterelle kind of turned a bit orange because, well, no, it wasn't orange. Duh. I was like, it seems a bit darker, obviously, because we put it on a dark base. Because allegedly, apparently, we're supposed to be doing lightest to darkest. That obviously wasn't that. Okay, let's go back in and attempt to fix this gradient. Oh, that was the wrong color. That's all right. Our first unofficial attempt at color mixing. kind of looks the same now. There we go. That's better. That's looking a little lighter and brighter. Okay, let's try to bring up this green now. Ooh, which did you get? I know you are official snack supplier of the office. What snacks have you provided? Okay. It's not perfect, but it's also not bad. We did probably not, yeah, see this is all bleeding into each other now, so we probably didn't let it dry. That's okay. We're learning. I love how the auto mod hates that. It hates the word cream pie. Reese cups, Butterfingers, Crunch bars, oatmeal cream pies, and some random chips. That's awesome. I would love a Reese cup right now. I would love me a Reese cup right now. Okay. Let's just do like a nice bright yellow background for this puffball. Because the puffball, from what I remember, our spiky puffball was like a bit of a darker color. The common puffball was a bit brighter. But yeah, spiky puffball is like kind of like a brownish color. So, well, I guess that makes sense, right? Yeah, I know. I just find it funny every time. Because when we were doing baking shrooms, we were talking all about cream pies at one point, and the auto mod was like losing its mind because we kept talking about it. So it happens. Okay, let's do a nice happy yellow. Well, this yellow's looking a little bit green. That's interesting. I don't know if maybe I didn't wash the brush very well. Also, I guess because the dirty water is like kind of having a bit of a green tint to it, so that could also be why. Okay. And then we'll use maybe this brown here. There's actually a little bit of that other color in there too, which maybe isn't a bad thing. This might not be dark enough, but we'll see. We'll see. Oh no, I think that'll look kind of cute. But do you think maybe it needs a bit more water to it? This kind of doesn't look like anything. So let's just like make it look more interesting by dropping some water in it. I don't know if that's doing anything. Who knows? There's enough water on there, so hopefully, I don't know, it'll do something funky. If not, that's okay. I actually think this one, the first one we did, I'm actually going to be the most excited about when we go to, like, fill it all in. Maybe this one, too. We'll see. Cool. This is fun, though, because we'll have, probably, because we have about 10 minutes left on stream, so what we'll do is finish, like, painting these guys. And then tomorrow we'll go in, because these should hopefully be dry, go in with the line art and just, like, see how they turn out. Let's do... trying to think, what colors should we do for the last two? They're quite light, actually. So maybe the like reddish brown over these guys, and then maybe white? Sure. Who knows? Let's just try. We'll do... yeah. You're hangry? It's 15 minutes past. No! That's annoying. You're like, you know what wouldn't have disappointed me? Can of cheese. That's so annoying when lunches get delayed, especially because I am such a person who, like, basically schedules my entire life around when I'm eating food. And so if that timeline is thrown off and I've not been informed of that, that's a problem. That's why I always have emergency granola bars and things on hand, because I'm like, listen, I might need to eat before all of you guys are ready to eat, and you don't need that. So I don't know if this is gonna work. I feel like, again, when I was watching the tutorials and stuff like that, a lot of the times the color that they were like, they were talking about, like, this white and how, I don't know, like, you're not, white is usually the color that's on the page. It's not like something that you add afterwards. So, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. And then also, it seems like a lot of watercolor people, they use, like, gouache with their stuff. And that apparently is like, it's like basically like a white paint from my understanding. And so that helps like make whites pop and things like that. So after having a rough draft, my OC completed, it feels so good to finally make some. Yeah, I think I saw that on Saul's channel. I think I saw your pixel art on Saul's Discord, and I assumed that was of your OC. Yeah, that's so exciting. But yeah, no, I feel you, Kat. I think that that is some bull shrimp. Absolutely. Oh, no. I feel like the first one turned out really good, but the second one, not so much. Here we go. There we go. We're getting... Okay, I think we'll just leave that one because there's like different intensity levels of the white, so maybe that'll turn out interesting. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. What do you think, Shadow? Are you impressed? Yeah, you impressed? You're like, not really. Hey? Hello. I'm almost done. Yeah, I'm almost done. Okay. What color combo or color situation should we try? I guess another possible option to go from like lightest to darkest is to maybe color in the mushroom first and then try to do the background. I don't know how that's gonna work. I think that might be, yeah, we'll see. We'll try that. Just to see what that might look like. Maybe we try like a wet on wet technique. So if I just, like a wet on wet, but like I'll just put down a layer of water first. Oh, this water has a bit of a tinge to it. That's fine. And then if we put the color on the mushroom first and then dot like a darker color around it, maybe? Let's see. Okay, what color do we want this mushroom? Probably this orange. And then if we sort of like dab this on here. Do you think we possibly need more water? Okay, so we've done that, and then let's pick maybe like the navy blue and just see like what that, because they could end up like color mixing and then it could end up being like a weird time, but it also might look kind of legit. So let's see. So far, I'm kind of liking it. I'm not mad at it. This is fun. This is new technique that we can now do. Well, we'll see how it turns out, but so far, I'm happy with what's happening here. And it doesn't seem to be like, though this side is much darker, but that's okay. It's kind of like a left to right gradient. That's kind of cool, actually. But yeah, if we go in here, we can like even make this bit a bit lighter, and then that one's a bit darker. So it is kind of like creeping into the yellow. But I think that's kind of cool. Okay, interesting. Cool. New option, new potential idea unlocked. And that is perfect timing, my friends. We managed to do, I don't know, a couple of different phases. So tomorrow, these will be dry. So then we're going to do the line art on them and just see how that turns out. And then we'll do another set. And the ones that we like, we'll make the cut, and then they'll go into some keychains. So that is the goal. That is the plan. But obviously, you know, a lot of this is still trial and error. So we're doing a bunch, and then we're seeing what looks cool, and then that will determine what we're going to do. But yeah, if anyone has any raid suggestions, let me know. If not, we will go see which of our wonderful, fabulous friends is currently online. In fact, let's see. Let's go find our friends. Let's go see what our friends are up to. And yeah, we'll be back here tomorrow doing the same thing because I am enjoying myself. So might as well take advantage of, you know, we're going off script, off schedule, but I'm not mad about it. I'm glad. Thank you so much for stopping by, Tara. I really appreciate this. I hope that you have so much fun on your watercolor adventures. I'm also, you know, this has been a journey for me. This is only day 2 of my journey, so I hope you enjoy. Let's go see who's online. Oh, we haven't seen Satchel Max in a while. What are they doing? Haha, what do you mean you can't leave us like this? We're gonna work on it tomorrow. Have a good day. You too, Sniping. Oh, are they? Yeah, okay, cool. They just moved up the ranks. Yeah, let's go and see. Oh, Retro Active Bex is also online. Very cool. But yeah, let's go see Satchel Max. It's been a minute. I think they're working on a sweater. That's what I'm led to believe. So we should go do that. They're crafting. Or no, are they story timing? Or they will be story timing. They're starting soon. Let's get in. Let's get in on it. We have just... They're starting in like a minute. That's fine. We should go join them. Let's go join them. Let's do the raid message. I will also link their Twitch. Soul gave me that idea in case people get left behind in the raid, which is actually really rude that keeps happening. But that's there in case anybody who joins the raid does not get left behind. I really hope you don't, Phalanx. I wonder too, do you watch, like, I wonder if it depends on the platform. Like if you're watching on your phone versus watching like on a different platform, if that dictates whether or not you join a raid or not. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But yeah, all the fingers and toes crossed. Phalanx gets in the raid, guys. All cross your fingers and toes. Let's just hope that he joins us. If not, the link is there. Yeah, Satchel Max is literally starting in like 20 seconds. So I think that's just the perfect amount of time for us to go and see them. And yeah, we'll be back here tomorrow to do some line art and see how these little mushroom watercolor mixed media extravaganza little paintings went. Have an amazing rest of your day. And thank you so much for being here. Bye!